if you are listening to this right now, it probably means one of two things. One, you are using social media and you want to get more visibility, you want to get more referral because people are seeing your brand and they like it and they just want to talk about it to other people, right? That's how you get more referral. And two, you just want to build a personal brand because having your own brand sounds cool, right? I mean, you can just talk to other people like, hey, I have this personal brand, I have my own brand, right? It makes you proud. It makes you who you are, right? And yeah, you are probably one of these two things, right? Okay, so in today's episode, Elizabeth and I will talk about 3 questions to ask to build a great brand, what Coca-Cola teaches you about branding, how to create a message that targets into people's emotion, and so much more, okay? And just to let you know, this is the second part of the interview with Elizabeth Pamplona. So if you haven't checked out the first part, make sure to go to the episode 72 so you can discover more about creating content on social media that not only help you get more engagement, okay, because we don't want to get more engagement, we want to get more sales, right? I mean, we are a business people. Likes doesn't pay you the bills. Okay, so if you are using social media for your business, you really want to create content that purposely to make sales. Okay, so we talk about that in episode 72, so make sure to check that out also after you listen to this episode. Okay, and before we begin, subscribe or follow this podcast, because when you do that, you will discover more about building a business using social media. If you are thinking about creating a social media or you are about to go online, then social media is your perfect asset, okay? And you know, in social media, you have to build an audience, you have to create content, you have to close sales using your DM and all this stuff. Then this podcast can help you do that. All right, so subscribe to it or click the follow button. All right, so let's begin.
So the real question is this: how would an entrepreneur like us, who literally start from nothing or has limited resources and yet still wants to build an empire, join Ashraf as he answers this big question so you can apply it too? Welcome to Focus on Winning.
So Elizabeth, another thing that you are specializing in is branding. So when you think about branding, or we have been talking about social media, right? And the most important part in social media is personal brand. So what do you think about branding?
Well, branding is more of the essence of your business. It is the heart and the soul of your business. And so what I try to do with my clients and what I've been able to accomplish with them, which has been amazing, is to help them realize that their message is more important than even their visuals, but they have to go together, right? So your message is your first piece. Who are you? What are you doing? And who are you sharing it with? So if you can answer those 3 questions, then that's your message. And once you have that message down and it connects emotionally, it connects practically, with people as they hear it, it could be something so simple. It has to be the simplest form of it. Then you can move on to the logo and the colors and how those tie into the brand that you want to present. Colors have emotion to them. Fonts have emotion to them. So we want to choose something that's not, if your business is like therapy or counseling or coaching, you don't want to choose something that's aggressive, right? You want to choose something that's a little softer, a little more inviting, and something that promotes trust and loyalty. And so those kind of things, like the blue is a loyalty color. So that's something we might use. So when we look at the message, we want to say, well, what is the main feeling we want people to get when they hear this message? Then we add the colors, then we add the fonts, and that's what creates our logo. And once the logo is created, now you need to use that on everything. It needs to be the same blue on everything. It needs to be the same green, whatever color you're using, whatever colors, they need to be the same so that on your website, they look the same, on your social, they look the same, and going forward on your emails and your blogs. So that when someone sees something from you, they immediately know who it is. They immediately know who you are. and they can say, oh, I know exactly what brand that is. It's just kind of like with Coca-Cola. They didn't change their red over the years. They always have the same red, and they always have the same font with their letters. And so anytime they've tried to change things, people are like, wait, what? So if you think about Pepsi, Pepsi has changed a lot over the years. And they've actually had to go back and forth with their logos a couple of times. So they've changed their logos so much a couple of times that people didn't recognize it. And so they had to go backwards and go back to their older logos or similar to their older logos. If you look at the progression of the Coca-Cola logo, you can see like all the Coca-Cola logos. You can look it up on Google and they'll show you what Coca-Cola's logo has looked like from the beginning of the company all the way till now. And a lot of it's very similar, looks very similar. But then if you look at Pepsi's logo and you see their progression, it is very, very different. There's a lot of jumping around. There's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of things that were there and then not there. And so it's very interesting how they've morphed their logo and changed, but how they've had to backtrack a little. And you can see that in the progression of the years of how their logo has gone. So I try to help people to create that logo like Coca-Cola that's so iconic, that is totally them, and it's always going to be them. And then from there, you know, you can rebrand later on if you need to, but most of the time when you get that brand that's so connected to you and to your business, you don't have to rebrand. You might tweak it a little bit, but you don't have to go crazy with it. You know, it can really be that brand that sticks with you forever.
You know, I didn't notice about the Pepsi logo. I thought it was the same all years. So
their logo has gotten a lot of stuff, a lot of different iterations of it.
Wow, I like that you mentioned about the 3 questions to identify our brand or to build a great brand. Can you repeat the 3 questions again?
So it's who are you, what do you do, and who are you sharing it with?
Okay, so
and that really can help you build that message.
So let's say if people were ask you, what's your brand? What would you say?
Well, if they ask you what's your brand, they're not asking you the right question. Usually people ask you, what do you do?
Oh.
And so our message would be replacing the what do you do question. So if you say, what do you do? Then I would say, I help entrepreneurs and small businesses to create 1 year of marketing in 5 days. And that connects with people on an emotional level. Oh my gosh, if only that was possible, they think, right? Then it connects with them on a practical level because they know they need something like that. And then if you look at, you know, how, it connects with people on an immediate level, it's quick, it's fast, 5 days, right? So my message is very, very simple. It tells you exactly what I do. And it also tells you who I am. I'm going to stick with you. I'm going to help you with this. I can do this. I do this all the time. It gives you that sense, right? Because I'm confident when I say it. And so that message is so simple. But it says everything it needs to say without me saying too much, saying too little, being vague. Now the questions come. And that's really what you want your message to do, is you want your message to have people go, I get it, but now what? Or I get it, but more. Tell me more. And that's what your message should really convey.
So, all right, you have a lot of services right now. So how do you convince people that this is what you do? I mean, right now you are pushing the service of 365 days of worth of content right now, right? So is that the brand that you are going to say to people? Yeah,
so when I talk to people, I tell them I create 1 year of marketing content in 5 days. So I'm marketing absolute marketing. I'm telling them my message is about absolute marketing. Imagine if you could have all of your marketing done, your website, your brand, your social media, your blogging, and your emails, your email marketing, all done for the entire year, and we only have to spend 5 days on it. That is the message that I give. And that's what I speak on, and that's what I teach, and that's what I sell. You know, all of that's all wrapped together. So my message is about time, exchanging time and effort. So you only have 3 things you can use, right? You have time, money, and effort. And so for some money, we can get you back a whole lot of time. You know, entrepreneurs spend 20 hours a week on their marketing. 20 hours. That's a lot of time. And if we're already working 40 hours, add another 20 to that. Now our weeks are 60 hours or 80 hours even. So when do we have time to do this? And that's why a lot of this falls by the wayside for entrepreneurs. And so what I try to do is, hey, I want to give you back 15 hours of that week, 20 hours of that week, 10 hours of that week, something. If you get back those 20 hours a week and you can now reallocate those hours to whatever you want, whether it's more sales, more networking, more family time, more self-care time, whatever that is, that's 1,000 hours a year. Wow. That is a ton of time. So if we can take 1 week and get all that done, now you have 1,000 hours. What are you going to do with it? And that's up to you.
When is the right time to post videos and pictures? Like I've seen that Facebook users prefers long writing. I don't know if that's also to you, but for my audience, they like to write long posts, and on Instagram they like to just see the pictures rather than writing, right? So how about you? What do you say about this?
So I actually don't subscribe to the long post idea. I believe that the long posts should be on your website so that you can actually use that for your SEO. So if you're going to write a long post, that's probably got some really good information in it. That should be a blog post. And so now we can share it on social media. So people will go back to our website and now we have more clicks over there. People can actually use it. And then Google can actually scan it as well, because Google doesn't necessarily scan some of those private posts that are on groups and things like that. So definitely want to use those kind of long posts for, instead of blog posts or as a blog post. And then we can share it to social media. I think definitely Instagram, if you're using that, if it's part of your demographic, definitely the pictures and the videos, stories, things like that. There's not like a certain time when those things should be shared. It really does come down to, what your audience needs and when do they need it. And so if you have had your group for a while or your page for a while, you go into your analytics in Facebook, in Twitter, in whatever, and really look and see, when are people on my posts? When are my comments being made? When are things being seen? And if all of your people are really visiting your page and stuff or seeing your posts in the evening, then you should be posting in the evening. If they're all during the day because they're working and that's part of their work day, then you should post during the day, not during lunch, right? Maybe because they're going to be eating and busy doing something else, but during the work day, when they're in there, when they're viewing things, when they're searching for stuff. So those are the kind of things I look at is, think about your audience, think about their lifestyle, think about what they're doing in a regular day. And if you don't know, you can always ask them. You can ask your clients and people like that. And sometimes you're your own demographic. I find that I'm in my own demographic. I work with women in business who've been in business 3 to 5 years. I've been in business a little longer than that, but about 3 to 5 years, right? And so I think about myself as part of that demographic. I'm within the age range of the demographic I like to serve. I'm within I have the type of business of people that I like to serve, people in the service industry. And so I look at myself and say, okay, what's my typical day like? When am I on social media looking for things for my business, looking for that informational video or that post that I want to read? So when I'm on there, that's when I like to post, because I know that my clients are very much the same. They're in that same, ballpark with me, and they have those same, time frames that I do. So I really look at those things first.
Oh, okay. So you're saying post about your lifestyle more often?
No, I'm saying look at the lifestyle of the people who you're serving, and then you post during times when they're going to be on. So let's say every morning they get up and they run, like that's part of the lifestyle of the people that you serve. Then you might want to post at 5 a.m. because they're going to be up, they're going to be checking their phone real quick right before they go for their run, and they'll see your post. But if they got kids and they've got homework and they've got, all these things happening in their lives, and 8 p.m. is when they finally get on the computer and they do something for their small business or they do something for their side hustle, then you post it 8 p.m., 8:30, because that's when they're going to see it the quickest and they're going to be on. So those are the types of things you want to look at, the lifestyle of your clients. And sometimes you're also in that demographic, you're in that same bucket, right? You're in the same spot as them. But if you look at their client's lifestyle and you say, okay, how can I match up what I'm doing to fit into their lifestyle so that they'll actually be more connected and see what I'm doing much better?
That's awesome. Elizabeth, I love the idea of you spend this kind of hours. You said 8 hours.
Yes.
Every year.
Once a year.
Oh yeah, 8 hours once a year to create 200 something contents. I like that kind of idea. Yeah. But when do we monetize that content? When do we monetize
Yeah.
through our content?
So when you're writing your posts, we talked about one of our 5 pieces of posts was sales. And we're writing saying, hey, I've got this course. Hey, I've got, this, this paid ebook that you can purchase. I've got a membership. I've got a mastermind, whatever that is. So you would use those 5 sales posts or those 6 sales posts, however you write, you use those sales posts on your social media so that throughout the year, you're reminding people, this is one of my services. This is what I do. Don't forget, we actually, my husband, he does book editing and things like that, but he also does copywriting. So he can say, hey, don't forget I do copywriting, because mostly he's talking about writing your book and getting your book out there and publishing your book. But then he also can say, oh, don't forget, I do copywriting. And that will remind people throughout the year, oh, yeah, he does that. I forgot about that.
Nice. So how many days do you promote your his copywriting service?
So when you have services, you choose, I say, for example, I have 5 services that I promote. And with those 5 services, I write 2 posts about each one of those services. That's 10 posts. I do 1 each week, and then I repeat it every 10 days. Just repeat. So, every 10 weeks. So I have 1 for 10 weeks, right? All of them go out, and then I start them over. So that's how I do it. I do it once a week.
Oh, that's nice. And one thing I like about you, Elizabeth, is that you wear this green thing, and it matches your websites. I think your website's all green.
Yep. Every time I speak, I'm on a podcast. If it's video at all, I always wear green because I want to represent my brand in that way. And it's not always the same exact color green. Sometimes it's hard to find clothes in that color green, but it's very close. And people recognize that. And they know that red hair, green shirt, that must be Elizabeth. That must be Absolute Marketing.
Wow. Okay. Maybe next time I should wear something that represent my brand after this. Wow. Thank you for reminding me that. All right. So I think we can wrap up our conversation. So what's the final takeaway that our listeners can really get from our chat today?
Well, I think the main thing is to create your very simple strategy. Make sure you know what your message is, who you are, what you do, and who you're sharing it with. Know your message. Take your social media if you want to start there. Make sure you have a very simple strategy. On day 1, Monday, we're going to do this. On day 2, Tuesday, we're going to do this. And just create that strategy first. Fill in your calendar with your posts and put them into a scheduler. That's the easiest thing you can do. And, that's me giving away the how, right? So It's not rocket science. It's not something that's crazy, but there are things that I can tell you that are shortcuts and all that. If you work with me, if you take my course, whatever, but the simple form is you just got to do the strategy, create your calendar, fill it in, put it in a scheduler. Not rocket science. It's very doable, and almost anybody can do this.
So, how do people choose which platform is suitable for them?
Well, I have the free ebook that I wrote all that information in. You can go on Google. You can look up, which platforms serve which clients, which people, and or you can get my ebook, which has all of it. I compiled all the information together for you. So. I have that free ebook on my website, getabsolutemarketing.com. If you join our membership, it's also free. Then you'll get access to the ebook and a lot of other stuff that I have as well.
Awesome. So where do people find more about you?
They can go to getabsolutemarketing.com.
Okay. Any other social media that you are active?
Yes, I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook, and you can just look up Elizabeth Pampalone or Absolute Marketing, and you can find us there.
Oh, nice. All right. Elizabeth, thank you for sharing your ideas and insights with us. Really happy to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
And for the listeners, I'll catch you another time. All right, winners. I hope you enjoyed that episode with Elizabeth Pampalone. So visit getabsolutemarketing.com to get the ebook about how to know which platform serves your audience better. All right. And whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram, right? It doesn't matter. You will know once you get that ebook, okay? So I believe that creating content is one thing, but knowing who's your content for is another thing. And if you want to know who should consume your content, what kind of audience should you serve, what kind of clients should you work with, then check out my ebook, 7 Questions to Identify Your Perfect Client at bit.ly/client for you. The link is in the description, okay? And what this book will teach you is that it will help you create content for the right audience who is not just want to subscribe to you, but also they are ready to buy anything from you. Wow, that is so powerful because you have the right solution for them, and that's why they are your perfect client or customer. Okay, so that's why you really need to know what kind of audience should you serve. You don't just serve anyone, because if you serve everybody, you actually serve nobody. Alright, I'm sure you have heard that many times. It's not just from me, it's coming from many other marketers. Okay, they always talk about knowing. You should know who you serve. Okay, who is this for? The more specific it is, the better. Alright, and these 7 questions will help you identify your perfect client. Alright, so again, go to bit.ly/client for you. The link is in the description if you don't know the spelling. Alright, so always remember, winners focus on winning. Until then, stay winning.
Hey, thank you for listening. We hope you can implement everything from this episode. And would you like to know more about business strategies and life hacks that you can apply right now? If so, subscribe to this podcast so you can become the best you.